Hello everyone, I hope you guys are doing great. Welcome to a new class. Olá pessoas, tudo bem com vocês? Bem-vindo à nova palestra. Palestra de hoje é avançado. Então, aluno, se você está no nível básico, não fica chateado, porque seu instrutor vai fazer básico para você. Eu. Ok, gente? Vamos lá, ok? Se você também quer praticar seu inglês, quer ouvir o listening, ok? É tempo para correr essa aula, porque você vai aprender novo línguas, novo vocabulários ampla, bem avançado também. Então, aluno, vamos comigo. O que a gente vai falar hoje? A gente vai falar sobre redação. O que é redação? Redação é onde caputo muitas pessoas. Pessoas que estão na faculdade, que estão fazendo faculdade, pessoas que estão trabalhando, sabem que redação é muito, muito importante, né? Porque qualquer língua, português, francês, chinês, japonês, tudo isso, você precisa escrever redação. Porque isso prepara você para trabalhar profissional, né? Que quando você entrar numa empresa X, você tem que fazer a apresentação, fazer a job proposals. Então, é tudo isso. É escrever seu currículo, é escrever as mensagens para clientes. Então, redação já preparar você para as coisas grandes para frente, ok? Então, essa aula avançada vai ser preparando o aluno para saber as coisas que ele tem que aprender, como escrever, formato de escrever, e tudo isso que nós vai aprender hoje, ok? So, guys and girls, today we're going to be talking about how to write an effective essay. So we know that essay is very important because everything we do actually needs you to act as your own writer. Like if in university, you need like you enter the university, you're in faculty, or you want to do your proposals, you're doing your MBAs, or you're working. You know that essays are one of the core things you need to do in school. So today we're not looking at formats, okay, so introduction, body, conclusion, sentences, this statements and topic sentences. So guys and girls, I would really applaud you to be very attentive. Like, remember guys, I always implore you all to go out from places that are very toxic, places that have noises, where you can concentrate, you can actually read, or you can do anything. So if you're at places that you cannot concentrate, you are like ideas or places that you can really read or study, what you do is you extract yourself from such positions and go to new kind of environment, like where there's restaurant wheels that you can actually study. Now guys and girls, these are the few steps down. Remember, you need a dictionary, you need to put things that like things you don't know, you need to jot them down. Words you don't know too, you also need to bring your dictionary to also find out the meaning of those words. Now guys, moving forward, let's start our classes. Now, what is a supposed format? How is an essay supposed to start? Now, an essay needs to start by introduction. Like everything you do, it needs to have the thesis statement, the body language, we call the body of the text, of course. Then we have the conclusion. Now, bearing in mind, guys, you're not there. You're not in present to present your idea. You're not there to tell what you're really thinking. So, whatever you say is what the person out there would, actually pick up. So it's really important that you write in a very convincing manner. You have your starting point, your ending interface. Now, like everything you do, like every project you do in life, everything you do has to have a starting point where you want to start, have to have an objective, clear different objectives, and you start, and where it ends. So
as you can see, I have already given the diagram. You like, okay, the introduction, you have the start, then you have the tenses there, then you have the body, then you have the conclusion at the end of the statement. Now, guys, this is where everything starts. Now, I'm going to show you how to go about it. Introduction. Now, guys, what's an introduction? Okay, introduction is what we do every day. Like you go to the meeting, you go meet someone new, you come to a class, you're in a new group, you always introduce yourself. So you always introduce the topic you want to talk about. So what do you want to talk about? What's it about? Okay, so what's it about? What is it we talk about? About words. So these are the things that you need to consider. So like, first part of an exercise, so like, try to capture the reader's attention. Now, guys, a lot of people say, oh, but I don't know how to do that. Of course you know how to do that. You need something provocative. You need something to get your readers like to pick your book and read. You need something to get people like interested in what you have to sell. So it's not like, oh, I'm not writing this. I say, oh, this is an essay for, oh no, that's very amateur. That's myopic. You need to go beyond and above. Okay. Now, I'm going to give you the steps of introductions, but just pay close attention here. Now, introduction format, we have attention getter. Something to get attention, something to draw attention. You know, if you see that headlines on the news, it's like, there 10 people died in Shees. This is something to grab your attention. You bring up a newspaper to read and they say, oh, the people in Dash are killing Dash. America is in doom of stupid. The president, Donald Trump, all these things are just what we call a bait click, okay? Something to bet you into actually picking up interest in what the person has to say. Now, state your problem. Now, you come to some very you said some a very controversial attention-getting introductory statement. Now, you also have to state your problem. What's the problem here? So that's why you say newscasters. You see newscasters. You see they just read the headlines and then go into what's happening. So these are just format. People who know journalism, if you've studied journalism, if you're in the university, you know that these are the processes things that work. So that's how other things you do to get to the proofs. Now we have bridge and transmission sentence. Now, bridge and transmission sentence is also very, very important. Why is it important? Because you need to know when to bridge and how to transit into the next phrase of what you're writing. Now, mind you guys, this is just introductory. Now, that's why when you learn how to write effective introductory, you've already done your work. You've already done something very okay, I'm going to give you this instance. Have you ever seen a movie that, when watching a movie, starting the scenario, someone died, and you're wondering, oh, what happened? How? You see a movie, a lady jumps into the ocean, or you see a movie start with a murder scene, you see a movie, that's the suspense. This is the introductory. Now, that's it, guys. You see a movie start with almost every movie captures with a crime. You see a movie that starts with crime or a death or someone dying. Guys, this is an art of getting the viewers to, pick up the interest. Like, oh my God, what happened? Why did she kill herself? Why did that man rob the bank? What happened? So this is the question. This is the introductory, guys. So you spend the rest of the movie trying to find out what really happened. So they take you up to the process. So, for example, the series we watch these days always start with one problem, and then it is tense and it's tense and it's tense and it's tense. This is what we call introductory. Remember, guys, you're not there to pitch your idea. You're not there to be the epiphany of your own idea or epilogue of what you are to say. No, you are there what you want to say, what you want to express, everything you want to say, you do that in your writing. And that's the reason why you need to know how to write in an appropriate manner. Okay? So guys, we have bridge and transition sentences. Then we have the these statement always at the end. Moving forward. Ways to start your introduction. Now guys, I'm going to give you some strategies and how you can start a very provocative introduction. Now, provide some interesting background about the topic in the form of general statement. Now, examples. Today Grammys owners becomes tomorrow's leaders. Now, also use a thought-provoking quotation like Grammys creatures to be loved, not fed, Dr. S. Rapp. So this is something that you can also do to get attention, okay? So ask a question or start with a question, okay? Like ask a question about the topic. Why do many people like Grammys? Like, you provoke that. You provoke the reader. You provoke the person on the side, when you're writing to actually think about it. Like, for example, why are women paid equally? What is race? Why are people always? Why do we have a race core? Why can't we just say we all are human? Why do we have you provoke something like this? Why do we have to have these different titles for different people? Why can't you just say these are ways you can actually provoke the reader to get interested in what you're trying to say? Okay. Then we also have a status operating fact about a puzzling statement. Okay, in 1693, the first grammar was brought to America. So you use the fact to go into what you're trying to say. So this helps the reader. Oh, I don't know that. Really, is that true? Okay, so or you can always start with a short story like little Susan looked out the window only to see precious Grammy well lad was being stolen. So he's like, oh my goodness. So you start with a very short story, something to capture your reader's attention, and like, really? Wow. Guys, this is the strategy people use to get attention. Now we also have state a common misconception. People don't learn bad habits from Grammys. Okay, so you state a misconception about it. Now we have describe a problem. Everyone knows a problem rapping Grammys to have in a society. So this also has like, oh my goodness, okay, or give an logic. Like Grammys just like children. They're not harmful. They're not something to be feared. They're not something to run away from. They're not something very diabolic like people try to put them to be or paint them to be. Now, show how the topic is related to the reader's experience. Okay, most people know how the film used to take care of Gardens Grammys. Now, guys, these are ways you can start a very enticing, bait-clicking essay. Okay, it's an introductory statement. Now, moving forward. Introduction. How should it be? How should you connect? What should you do? Make a bridge to connect the attention-getting sentence to your thesis statement. Common ways to make a bridge to explain why the topic is important. Okay, so your common ways you can make that is to explain why it's important. Now, this bridge is often a few sentences long, like conclude introductory paragraph with most important idea of the essay. Okay, so you say that these are statements dash. So guys, this is how it's all. So you go from step 1 to step B, you use step 2 to connect step 3. So you use all this strategy to get you where you want to be. Okay, now let's move a bit forward. How do I write this statement? Why should I write it? Topic, opinion, 3 reasons. Now, why do I say topic? You introduce what you're trying to say, you have your own personal opinion, then you give the 3 reasons why. Okay, it's not enough. Like I read people write a lot, and then I say, how did this person get here? because it seems like people don't prepare, people don't research. You don't just write something just because you're given something to write. You need to research, make research about what you're writing. Use the internet, get more information about what you want to write. Quote people, but be very, very careful to what? Paraphrase if you are quoting someone else's work. Okay, you don't copy someone else's work and just that. You always paraphrase when you are taking up someone else's job. Okay, please, guys, it's really, really important. Now, the three these functions of the thesis statement. I'm going to show you the functions of this statement. Like, to announce the topic to the reader. No, the thesis announces the topic to the reader. To reflect a judgment about the topic, to provide the reader with a blueprint of what is to come in the paper. Now, these explain to the reader what he or she needs to know. So, guys, it is highly, highly important that this is what you do. You know how to go, you know what to say, you also know how to go about all the parameters of writing. Okay, so look at how I function them out. You say the functions of the thesis mean you have to announce the topic to the reader, to reflect a judgment about the topic, to provide the reader with a blueprint and what is to come in the paper. So this is what happens. Now, this example here that's already been incorporated can show you how these things really work. So they're already being color-coded here, so you can see what an example looks like. How do I start it with? So how does getting a statement translate into the problem solving, translate into the bridge and transition sentence, translate the thesis sentence? So you see how this thing goes. So it explains to you how they all go from stage to stage. Now let's go, guys. Examples. Gramophobia in America. Okay, so gramophobia in America, it's the title. Okay, so I'm now giving you a title here. Then I'll start. In 2004, the Grimo Liberation Front, which is the GLF, was created. Okay, this group of people believe that Grimm should be freed, not prisoners of their own gardens. Like the GLF have now begun Grimm napping, the act of stealing Grimms and stealing them from the wilderness. However, the law is unwilling to do anything. Many police states that the Grimms are not serious enough things to deal with, and they have larger problems to do with. Okay, this is not acceptable. Okay, so you see how this is translated. So you can see from the red to the problem to the blueprint what is not to be accepted. Okay, now the law should be taking the Grimm napping more seriously because people are committing what? A crime. I'm now bridging a sentence and I'm showing you a transition into my thesis statement. Okay, Grimm napping is stealing personal property and is illegal, morally wrong and disrespectful. Guys, did you see how this translates? How I introduce this, how I enter into the next phrase, into the next phrase, into the next phrase. Now, this is how you start and this is how you write it. Now we have note. This doesn't mean your intro is 4 sentences long. Okay, it just has 4 parts. Okay, you don't necessarily need to go into all those details or to write it or color code the way I just did. No, you don't need to do all that headache. I just showed you, I just put them down so you could see how it works. Moving forward, the body. The body is a set of paragraphs that develop the ideas expressed in the tense statement. Okay, so make a list of main ideas that support the tense statement. Each idea becomes the main ideas for the body paragraph. Arrange the ideas in logical order, time, place, importance. Okay, you always have those in dots. Plan out each body paragraph by listing major details that support each main idea. All the details within each paragraph in a logical way. Each body paragraph may end with a concluding sentence. Now, guys, this is something you need to do very, very diligently. Okay, when you're starting, you need to know how to arrange your body, the time, the place, the importance, what you want to talk about, what you want to do, and the forthcomings. So these are ways you can actually start up your body statement. Now, I'm going to show you how it works. Example of the essay outline. The these statement is there. The body paragraph starts there. The body paragraph 2 starts here. And the body paragraph 3 starts here. Now guys, if you see how it's done, group down pencil sequence property after step of here, you give 1 point, 2 point, 3 points. Okay, so it doesn't necessarily mean you put those points. No, I'm just showing the format on how it should go. Now it is more wrong to take someone's property where it is, then I give you point 1, point 2, point 3. Okay, then you go again, then GLF is incredible disrespectful that you go point 1, point 2, point 3. So you could see how it done, beautifully narrated, so someone understands what you're trying to say. Someone understands where you're going with your ideas. It's not all over the place. It's very precise, very arranged. It's something that you can look at it. It's beautifully written. You know what's right. So guys, this is the problem we have today in our writing generally, because a lot of people do not know how to properly arrange their thoughts. So when you see these headlines, when you see how this is done, I hope this helps you paragraph your ideas correctly. Now we're going to move forward to we go, because I have a lot of areas to cover. The writing stage. What is the writing stage? After planning and arranging your main idea, remember, like I told you guys, writing is an art. It's something you practice. It's not something you do. You don't wake up and oh, I'm a pro writer. No, it doesn't work that way. You wake up, you give it your all. You develop your ideas. It's an act of perfection. No one becomes a good writer just because you went to the university, just because you have degrees. And no, these are processes. Yeah, going to the university or having a higher degree doesn't make you necessarily a good writer. Okay, you become a good writer with practice. Okay, that's why you see, for you to become a PhD holder, you have to have a lot of publications. I have to have publication you've done. So this helps someone understand your point of view, train you to that point where you are very, very good at what you do. Okay, now after planning and arranging your main ideas and major details, begins writing your body paragraph. Like this is very, very important. So you need to plan down everything you want to do, then you begin writing your body paragraph. The number of paragraphs depends on the topic's complexity and inclusiveness and your purpose for writing. Now, usually, a short essay contains 3 to 5 body paragraphs, plus an introduction or conclusion. Remember to use signal words to make smooth transitions between sentences and paragraphing. Now, guys, if you don't know how that works, you are not yet a college student, because it is so complicated, especially when you're doing your MBA or masters, or you're to do a very post course. You see how difficult it is to oh my god, it's extremely difficult, guys. You need to write a lot of papers, a lot of documents. It is very tiring, but I tell you, those things prepare you for a better day. Okay, so moving forward, signals and transition words. For example, okay, for examples we have, for instance, to illustrate. These are signals. You're giving signals for your reader to understand. Okay, he's going to transfer from here. That's what's going from here. That's going to be the next thing that's going to happen here. Okay, so always remember that when you're using all the chronological order, it has to have a chronological order. What do we want to talk about? Hurricane here. So it's like people say, oh yeah, but it's so very archaic to have all these things done. But yeah, that's the proper way to write them. Okay, you have those things very stated out. Now, the next steps are, you can say the next steps are, or next, finally, first, secondly, third. So these are things you can use. These are transition signal. Okay. Now you can say for additional points, you can say furthermore, in addition, also, or moreover. Okay, these are words you can use. Remember, it's a formal document. Your English needs to be very formal. You need to put your teeth and your dots where they belong. Now, also have here for opposing ideas. If you're writing something very contra, you can say, on the other hand, in contrast, you can also say although. You can say have other. So these are how you can present your opposing ideas. For similar ideas, you can say likewise, similarly, or in comparison. Now, guys, these are ways you can actually translate your words. You can go from plan B to plan C to plan D to the last words. Okay, for exceptions, we have however, nevertheless, but, yet, and still. For instances, we have above all, finally, more importantly. Okay, when you want to learn something very important, want to learn and faster something, you can also use this word. Now we have for understanding, in other words, in essence, briefly. Okay, so we have for summarizing, in conclusion, to sum up, for this reason, in a nutshell. These are words, well decorated, well educated, to show that you're not a lackluster or you're not a lukewarm. No, you are very bright. You know what you're saying. You know where you're headed. Now, for exams, you can say, remember this. Okay, this is important. This could be on the test. Okay, guys. Now, conclusion. Conclusions are very important. How they're so? Why they're very important? Because you just started, you open your ideas. Now you have to conclude. You have to tell someone what they're trying to explain. You have to tell someone how to go about what you just explained to them. You have to tell someone everything. You have to conclude. Conclusion is where you bring your own being into writing. This is where you state your own logic. This is where you come. This is where you become you. This is where the reader gets to see you for who you are. Okay, so always remember to close strong. I tell people, start strong, but more importantly, close very, very strong, because your closing is what stays with people. Most of the time, people do not listen to half of the word you say, but when your closing statement is what leave them gasping, is what like in gag. Like you gag them with like that surprising element to keep them like, oh my goodness. Oh, really? Wow. What? Oh, that's it. This is guys. Okay, so leave the reader thinking about your topic. Leave an impression on them. Okay, so you close reading the lead. You know, it's like something like Susan, like Susan means. Say like, oh mate, oh how to make this was something very out of the ordinary, something, oh my goodness, I've never been like that. Talk show was exceptional. That was something very, very out of the world, something extraordinary. So now, guys, remember this is very, very important. No new information in conclusion. Don't start your information and say, okay, remember the woman that died in the other. No. You don't want to introduce new ideas. You already have your statement, you have your body language, you already come back. You don't want to introduce new ideas in your conclusion statement. Okay. Be sure to recap your ideas. It is important you give the key points, guys. Now, these are not just for people doing slides or writing essays. You can also use them for presentation in your workplace. Remember to always close strong. Recap your ideas. Don't add new ideas. Okay. Should follow logically from the body of the essay. Okay. So should follow logically from the body of the essay. Okay. Restate your tenses statement in different words. Okay. It's really, really important. You started very yesterday, and you introduce it again in a different word, because actually what the reader goes with at the end of the day is what you start with and what you end with. So it's something that, so with them, between your introduction and your closing is actually what stays with the reader, because it's gonna be 2 hours reading or 3 hours reading. They're gonna be there to remember everything you said. So that's why you capture them strong and also close very strong. Now, you might want to leave your reader to do something after reading. Now, this is very important, guys. Call to action. Okay, example. Go write to senator about this problem. Now, you want them to practice. You want them to, that's why we have exercises in school. That's why I always say, go do this exercise, go do that exercise, because I want you to also what? Practice what has been done. Because it's not some, it's just like I might tell you some things and I tell you something that it's not good. That's something true. You cannot know everything that I've already stated from the beginning to the end. So that's the reason why I tell you, okay, go here, do this or do that, because I want you also to practice what has been taught. Okay, guys, now this is going to be the conclusion for our today class. Now, if you have any statement regarding this, please, I implore you to please ask. Okay, if you have any questions or statement regarding this, please, I implore you to please ask questions. I'm gonna leave a link below. I don't know here, but I'm gonna leave a link below that you can download the PDF of this class. Okay, so you can go there, download a PDF of the class on the steps you want to follow. Okay, so in case you want to follow them, in case you are interested to know how to actually write essay, you can also go there and self-teach yourself. Okay, guys, so self-teaching is also very interesting. It's a very, very important process for you to learn. Now, guys, this is going to be our class for today, and I will apologize, I'm too fast, I'm getting really rapid. Please, I apologize, because I want you guys to really train and know how to follow up when you meet a native speaker. Okay, guys, thank you very much. Love you all, and I will see you next class. Bye-bye.